The effectiveness of a privacy program is often judged not by the absence of incidents, but by the professional poise and speed with which the organization responds when a compromise occurs. This episode explores the critical and highly structured steps that a team must take when a privacy breach is identified to minimize legal damage and protect the individuals involved. Typically, the initial discovery of an incident creates a period of intense pressure where the desire to act quickly can lead to technical or administrative errors if a plan is not already in place. In practice, a successful response is characterized by a calm, methodical approach that prioritizes both the technical containment of the threat and the fulfillment of specific legal obligations. What this means is that we are developing a strategic mindset that treats breach response as a practiced and high-stakes business process. Before we continue, a quick note. This audio course is a companion to our course companion books. The first book is about the exam and provides detailed information on how to pass it best. The second book is a Kindle-only ebook that contains 1,000 flashcards that can be used on your mobile device or Kindle. Check them both out at cyberauthor.me in the Bare Metal Study Guide series. A privacy breach is formally defined as any security incident that leads to the accidental or unlawful destruction, loss, alteration, or unauthorized disclosure of, or access to, personal data. This definition is expansive, covering everything from a sophisticated external hack of a customer database to the accidental loss of an unencrypted company laptop in a public space. You'll often see that the legal consequences of a breach are triggered regardless of whether the intent was malicious or merely a human error in judgment. Typically, the severity of the incident is measured by the risk it poses to the rights and freedoms of the individuals whose data was compromised. Understanding this broad scope ensures that the organization treats every unauthorized data event with the necessary level of professional urgency and investigative rigor. A foundational requirement for any resilient organization is the professional practice of identifying the specific members of your internal cross-functional team who must be notified immediately during a breach. This response team generally includes representatives from the information technology, IT, department, legal counsel, human resources, and the executive leadership group. In practice, having a predefined call tree ensures that the right decision-makers are in the room within minutes of an incident being confirmed by the Security Operations Center. Typically, this team works together to evaluate the technical facts and to determine the organization's legal and reputational next steps. What this means is that you are building a collaborative framework that breaks down organizational silos during the most critical moments of a crisis. A major and potentially devastating pitfall in corporate governance is the tendency to try to hide a breach or to fail to notify the appropriate authorities within the strict legal timeframe required by law. In the modern regulatory environment, the cover-up is often worse than the crime, as regulators view a lack of transparency as a sign of gross negligence or bad faith. In practice, attempting to manage an incident in total secrecy almost always fails and leads to significantly higher fines and a total loss of public trust when the truth eventually emerges. Typically, most global privacy laws require that notifications occur without undue delay, making speed and honesty the primary professional standards for a successful response. This realization highlights why a culture of transparency is a mandatory requirement for any organization that wishes to remain legally defensible. You can achieve a significant and immediate quick win for your incident readiness by having a professional draft notification letter ready to go long before an actual incident ever happens. This template should include placeholders for the nature of the breach, the types of data involved, and the specific steps the organization is taking to mitigate the harm. In practice, trying to write a clear and empathetic letter while in the middle of a high-pressure investigation is a recipe for errors and confusing communication. Typically, having a pre-approved template allowed by the legal team ensures that you can focus your energy on the technical facts of the specific case. What this means is that you are using administrative preparation to ensure that your organization speaks with a unified, professional, and legally sound voice to its customers. It is helpful to visualize a professional scenario where your organization executes a calm, organized, and highly disciplined response where everyone knows their specific role and the legal clock is being watched with total precision. In such an environment, The technical team provides the ground truth, the legal team manages the regulatory filings, and the leadership team handles the strategic communications with the board and the public. Typically, this level of maturity is achieved through regular, tabletop exercises where the team practices its response to a realistic and challenging data breach scenario. In practice, a well-run response minimizes the noise of the crisis, allowing the organization to focus on the essential tasks of containment and recovery. This visualization helps us see that a prepared team is the ultimate guardian of the organization's reputation and its legal standing. In the field of global privacy regulation, we use the specific phrase 72-hour window to remember the remarkably strict reporting deadline often found in influential laws like the General Data Protection Regulation, GDPR. This rule requires that a data controller notify the appropriate supervisory authority of a personal data breach no later than 72 hours after becoming aware of the incident. Typically, if a notification is made after this window, it must be accompanied by a formal and documented explanation for the delay. In practice, this compressed timeline means that the organization must have a highly efficient internal reporting process that can move information from the server room to the legal department in a matter of hours. What this means is that your technical detection capabilities must be perfectly aligned with your organization's high-level legal reporting obligations. Reviewing your formal breach response plan on a quarterly basis ensures that your contact lists, the current legal requirements, and your external partner agreements are always up to date and accurate. In the fast-moving world of corporate privacy, laws like the California Consumer Privacy Act, CCPA, can change their specific notification timelines, as seen with new amendments that require resident notification within 30 days. In practice, an outdated plan is a significant liability that can lead to confusion and missed deadlines during a live crisis. Typically, a professional review also includes verifying that the phone numbers for your primary regulatory contacts and your insurance carrier are still functional and correct. This administrative diligence is what ensures that your response infrastructure remains a living and reliable reality for the organization. One can easily imagine a challenging and high-stakes scenario where a delayed or poorly managed breach notification leads to a massive class action lawsuit and a total, permanent loss of customer trust. When a company is perceived as being slow to act or evasive about the facts, it invites intense scrutiny from the media, the judicial system, and the public at large. Typically, the financial cost of the resulting litigation and the customer churn far exceeds the cost of a well-run and transparent response. In practice, the primary way to avoid this outcome is to treat the notification process as a critical business priority rather than a low-level administrative task. This scenario serves as a powerful reminder that your speed and your professional honesty are the most effective tools for minimizing the long-term impact of a security failure. Every professional response strategy should be anchored in the dual and simultaneous priorities of stopping the active data leak and fulfilling your mandatory legal reporting duties to the authorities and the public. Containment is the first technical goal, ensuring that the attacker's access is revoked and that no further data can leave the organization's control. At the same time, the administrative team must begin the process of documenting the incident to meet the specific requirements of the various privacy laws that may apply. In practice, these two efforts must happen in parallel, requiring a high degree of coordination between the engineering and the legal departments. What this means is that a successful responder is someone who can manage the technical bits and bytes while remaining fully aware of the rules and regulations of the legal environment. We have now covered the formal definition of a privacy breach and explored the mandatory professional steps for investigating, containing, and reporting the incident to regulators and affected individuals. By building a robust and practiced framework for breach management, the organization is taking a significant step toward achieving a more mature and resilient information governance posture. Typically, the most effective programs are those that view a breach as a not if, but when event, allowing them to focus on readiness and response excellence. In practice, this approach ensures that the organization remains a trusted and reliable participant in the global digital economy, even during its most challenging moments. This integrated perspective is what transforms a simple security plan into a high-performing and business-aligned privacy management engine. A highly effective technique for managing a major incident is the use of an external forensics firm and specialized legal counsel to help the organization determine the true scope and the legal impact of the breach. These outside experts provide an objective and independent view of the facts, which can be critical for maintaining the attorney-client privilege over the investigation's findings. In practice, the forensic firm can identify exactly what data was accessed, while the lawyers can provide guidance on the specific notification requirements for different global jurisdictions. Typically, using these external resources also demonstrates to regulators and insurance carriers that the organization is taking the incident seriously and is following industry best practices. What this means is that you are using a defense-in-depth approach to your investigative and legal response strategy. Responding to a privacy breach with professional speed and transparency helps to significantly mitigate the long-term impact on your organization's reputation and its overall legal standing in the community. When the facts are shared clearly and the organization takes responsibility for its response, the public is often more willing to forgive the original mistake and move forward with the relationship. Typically, a mature program uses the lessons learned from every incident to refine its technical controls and its administrative playbooks for the future. In practice, the energy you spend on perfecting your breach response protocols today is a direct investment in the long-term survival and the financial health of the entire enterprise. This focus on action is what ensures that your governance program remains a verified, trusted, and highly effective reality in the modern world. This unit on the essentials of responding to privacy breaches with prepared and compliant action steps is now complete, and you have gained a solid understanding of how to manage a data crisis. We have discussed the definition of a breach, the role of the 72-hour window, the importance of notification templates, and the value of external forensics and legal coordination. A warm and very practical next step for your own professional growth is to take a moment today and check if you have an easily accessible and current list of phone numbers for your primary regulators and outside counsel. As you do so, consider whether you know the exact first person you would call if you discovered a significant and unauthorized disclosure of personal data in your department. Moving forward with this observant and disciplined mindset will help you ensure that your organization's digital truth is always safe and fully defensible.
Thanks for listening. For more audio courses, daily newsletters, and more, please visit baremetalcyber.com.